Though I am not here in the physical sense, you all begged and pleaded, "Oh, please, Mrs. Lynch, who will deliver your poem with such flair?" Well, seniors, you've learned flattery gets you everywhere. Sit back and get comfortable. We might take some time. Class of 2018, population 69. 'Twas the night before finals, and all through the buckle, the seniors were weary, red-eyed, and chap-knuckled. The highlighted chapters perused with blank stares, in hopes that all A's will result from their prayers. Maddie was nestled all snug in her coat, starting her trek in the dark and the cold. For some day students, staying late is the norm. How Omo yearns for the days she could walk back to her dorm. Tearing down the backstretch at breakneck speeds, Sydney and Bennett had plans for the BBC. In the back gym lot, there arose quite a din. Wesley C. had backed into Emma Grace Patterson. "Wesley pleads, these spaces are small, it's dark, and I'm late. Tomorrow I'll bring you some nuggets from Chick-fil-A." Harold and Grace had observed the whole thing, sitting in the chairs behind the old gym. They jumped up to ask if they could help. A great excuse if Mr. Griggs was trying to hunt them down. Emma Grace snapped a picture to add to her chat story and drove off exclaiming, "It's not worth the worry." Hannah Jenkins was just leaving, conditioning for spring, but Jessica Turner was still lingering to clean out the water bottles before the next game and make sure the players were icing their springs. Mr. Mitchell was drilling the team on the court. Rhett's whole family was born for this sport. He furrows his forehead, sweat dripping from brow. He passed to Hayden, who knocked a 3 down. Greg rebounds and turns, goggles fogged from the heat. Ian calls for the ball, running sideways with fast feet. The echoes float up in cacophonous shouts. Jake Wright stands on the track with his crutches looking down. And Lucy Mitchell is running lap after lap to prepare for her 7th and final year of lax. With Ashton and Sonia keeping up pace, for some seniors this year feels like a rat race. Across the path in Lundin, in white top and black pants, Elizabeth and Clarice prepare their bow dance. They have practiced and practiced with the violin queen. Soon on stage, these virtuosos will beam. Jones Allison should join them, but he's out for a stroll, walking barefoot with his mother Nicole. Emily is called and he meets her at the hideaway. She is staying there on account of exams the next day. Back at dorm, Yoon and Sung Min need a shower. They've been playing indoor in Han Raglan for hours. Yoon needs one too, but the water heater's groaning. The button crusher sounds like it's close to exploding. David Liu sleeps right through the noise and the sounds. He's been up all hours, books strewn about. Prince tries to wake him from his stupor. Mr. Folk is on his way and the room's a disaster. Sky and David Shaw are down in the commons, chopping and dicing and preparing some ramen. Nihad is lured from his room by the scent. He's perfectly groomed from his watch to his pants. It's past study hours and Bond's lights are off. Alexis McKnight needs some help with a jump. The navigator's stalled and she's yelling at her mama. To the rescue comes the dashing Luke Nefrata. He had been working with Miranda on math, feeling gallant, after filming commercials as a Mexican for New Balance. The original bike boy sped back to Chambliss to retrieve Johnny O and tell him what happened. And speaking of Johnny, he's having a sale. If authorities descend, he knows he can make bail. Profits are storing for his daily bargains. Mrs. Truitt has studied his profit margins. Mia is at Miller's refilling fruit tea, her curly hair glistening with sweet dimpled cheek. The night slowly ticks away, and all is quiet except for the sugar gliders that live at Isaac's. Margaret and Anna try to fend off the germs, but come morning, one has the flu, Mom confirms. Chloe shivers as she slips on her well-worn Converses, dreaming she was seaside in Japan at Anonsen. Her paint-covered skirt is flung over her chair. She pulls it on and brushes her hair. She is being summoned to the booth up above by the trifecta of technological gods. Siri, Charlotte, and Dayton control what goes on in Chapel for All the Rose. Kelty and Wilson stealthily move about the stage, all in black. They are the two-man crew of live plays. And speaking of two live crew, I recall a certain birthday when Wilson was Biggie bombed. Lucas and I had stayed up until 3, cutting and taping and not so quietly whispering. While Henry snored away, oblivious to the ruckus, have you ever tried to wake King Yong when he's catatonic? Will and Max pull in the lot with siblings, just in time to run to class and ask for forgiving. Alex Wilson and Emma are not too far behind, but Emma's been up swimming since the crack of dawn. Aaron has class in the big room and tries to get away with parking on the other side. And Morgan has a leadership Bedford event, so she's cleared with Garcia when she will be in. Maya is snacking on olives in her room because Rand is so far, and breakfast ends soon. Sofa is sleeping down the hall just because. She's got 2 free periods and her throat feels like fuzz. The boy pack of Ethan, H, Colin, and Roan no longer send Snapchats to anyone's phones. They don't want to risk any misinterpretation, especially while completing their college applications. We have a few more, so bear with me 5 minutes. I wouldn't want to forget to mention Wesley Hennis. Some I know better than my thumbprint. Some I interviewed, like Jada Milliken. And some I know better because I worked with her mother. And she stopped by each day for a hug, Caroline Cooper. Where were we? Oh yes, the day of exams. James Russell is so cold, his skin looks translucent. Lexi is set with her Starbucks in hand. Waffle House is her obsession. Billie Eilish her jam. Behind the student center and between Haynes and Meadows, a giant lumbers. It must be Ethan Coco. Hannah Melson calls for him to hold up and walks with him while sipping her Yeti cup. These days, it seems for some, one cannot be mentioned without the other one. Like Thomas Webb and The Oldest Weatherby Here, I see him now and think of freshman year. He was reclusive, shy, and never had socks because he lived in dorm with David Kirschbaum. Then one day in the old gym, on folded up bleachers, his first kiss brought out a whole new creature, one that went running without his shirt and stayed for the weekends and started to flirt. His buddies grew too, including Sweet Joseph, who needs to learn to do laundry before he goes to college, or else he will go to class in his Spanx. But he's a good sport and doesn't seem fazed. Dear seniors, I have only one more to go, and this one loves apple pie and cookie dough. She hides all her feelings and can't ever work her phone, but knows this fellow Tar Heel loves Miranda like her own. I hope you all know how much each of you mean, not just to me, but your web family. You bring smiles and laughter and so many gifts. We'll remember you long after all of you have left. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah too. Best of luck on exams. I miss all of you.